सो रोल्स, देखिए अभी तक जो हमने बात की थी यूजर परमिशन, ठीक है। तो जो यूजर्स हैं, राइट, उस पर हम परमिशन अलॉट कर रहे हैं, मतलब वी आर यूजिंग द परमिशन डॉक्यूमेंट जिन्हें हम बोलते हैं पॉलिसीज, राइट। So we are associating the policies on the users to assign them the requisite permissions. कहने का मतलब क्या है, परमिशन जो है हम यूजर को देते हैं, राइट। लेकिन अकाउंट के अंदर यूजर तो होते ही हैं, राइट, जिन्हें कोई परमिशन नहीं है, जिन्हें हम बोलते हैं आई एम यूजर। लेकिन अकाउंट के अंदर रिसोर्सेज भी होते हैं, रिसोर्सेज रिसोर्सेज या जो भी सर्विसेज हैं। तो जैसे यूजर्स को कोई परमिशन नहीं है, उसी तरीके से रिसोर्सेज या सर्विसेज को भी कोई परमिशन नहीं होती है, राइट। इनफैक्ट रूट यूजर के अलावा किसी को कोई परमिशन नहीं होती है, सिर्फ रूट यूजर को ही फुल परमिशन है, राइट। एक्सेप्ट फॉर दिस नोबडी एल्स, ना तो कोई आई एम यूजर और ना ही कोई रिसोर्स, राइट। नो परमिशन आर देयर। फॉर एग्जाम्पल रिसोर्स मतलब जैसे EC2 इंस्टेंस, राइट, ये रिसोर्स है। डाटाबेस सर्वर्स, ये रिसोर्सेज हैं। BPC, राइट, स्टोरेज, ये सब रिसोर्सेज हैं, इन्हें भी कोई परमिशन नहीं है। अब जब हम कुछ डिजाइनिंग करते हैं तो बहुत बार बहुत बार क्या, ऑलमोस्ट एवरी टाइम ऐसा होता है कि इन रिसोर्सेज को एक दूसरे से इंटरेक्ट करना पड़ रहा है, राइट। कैसे, EC2 आप BPC में बनाओगे, राइट, बाहर तो बनाओगे नहीं, राइट। या you are as a developer, you have created some applications which are running on this machine EC2, right, और वो एप्लीकेशन है रिलेटेड टू डाटाबेस मैनेजमेंट, तो डाटाबेस सर्वर से कनेक्ट होंगी वो, राइट। या आपने कुछ एप्लीकेशन बनाया है which will upload the data, download the data, so it has to get connected to the storage, right। बट ये इंटरेक्शन है, बाय डिफॉल्ट ये पॉसिबल नहीं है। क्यों? परमिशन नहीं। इज दिस क्लियर? So there is no permission. Even the resources and services what we're using in the cloud, even they don't have the permission to interact even with each other, right? So permission देना पड़ता है इनको भी, but permission जैसा मैंने आपको बताया, we are using for the users as such. But resources और services के लिए जो हम permission की बात करते हैं, in fact we are using creating the roles, right? We are creating the roles. So roles and permissions are equivalent. And permissions we are allotting to the users, but roles are acquired by these resources. Roles अगर एक definition के अनुसार देखा जाए, so these are temporary security tokens. Temporary security tokens. यानी एक तरीके से ये temporary permission which has got unlimited life, right? And these tokens are going to be accompanied in the request, right? For example, let's suppose EC2 needs to access the storage. अब यहाँ पे जो storage है वो S3, ये S3 टॉपिक में शुरू करना है आपके लिए। So request जाएगा, right? और ये जब request जाएगा, so it has to be accompanied with permission, right? So that is going to be the token, right? Or the role. So roles are temporary security tokens, right? And roles are acquired by these resources. तो ये लैब भी हम करके देखते हैं। ये आपका EC2 इंस्टेंस है, राइट, और यहाँ पर ये आपका S3 स्टोरेज है, ये स्टोरेज सर्विस है। यू एज ए डेवलपर आपने कोई एप्लीकेशन डेवलप की है विच इज गोइंग टू डू डाटा अपलोड्स एंड डाटा डाउनलोड्स फ्रॉम द स्टोरेज, राइट। सो इस इंटरेक्शन के लिए परमिशन चाहिए, बाय डिफॉल्ट ये पॉसिबल नहीं होगा, So here we are going to create a role. This I'm calling it IAM role. Right? This IAM role we are going to define. In this role, we are going to define that EC2 should be allowed to access the storage. In this case, S3. Right? Once you create this role, so we are going to associate this role with this EC2. And once it is associated, then only it is going to happen. Right? तो इस बात का हम क्लियर करके लेंगे. Right? तो जब भी रिक्वेस्ट जाएगा, this request when it is going to access the storage, it is going to be accompanied with a security token which allows this session to get established. Right? And when this session is disconnected, so permission is gone. Right? So every session will have a token accompanied as long as this role is, it remains associated with this instance. चलिए, तो इस चीज को लेफ्ट से अपन देखते हैं करके. तो मैं सबसे पहले एक इंस्टेंस क्रिएट करता हूँ और फिर वहां से स्टोरेज को एक्सेस करने की कोशिश करेंगे. So I go to the EC2 in a different tab and I'll open up S3 also. ये storage service है. And so show करने के लिए मैंने open किया है. Otherwise we are going to manage everything from the EC2. So I will create an EC2 instance. Linux. Operating system Amazon Linux से ले लेते हैं. D2 Micro key pair is going to be same. Network हम कोई सा भी ले सकते हैं अभी. चलिए 1A zone. Public IP address enabled. Security group existing. Storage default 8 GB in size. Long instance. Once this is there in the running condition, we will make remote access. All right. Okay. अब इसमें CLI tools installed है, right? ये जो Amazon Linux है इसमें already CLI tools installed है, इसलिए जो है मैंने करके देखा. So it is already there. कल मैंने आपको बताया था अगर आप इसी चीज को सिस्टम से करते हैं अपने खुद के सिस्टम से तो CLI जो मॉड्यूल है टूल्स का वो आपको इंस्टॉल करना है. It's already there. And now from here, if I try to access the S3, so command is AWS S3 list and same. It is trying to locate the credential of the permission and it's not there, right? तो अब हम तो ये मैंने शो किया आपको कि अभी ये एक्सेस नहीं है. तो यहाँ पर एज ए यूजर अगर आप कोई एप्लीकेशन भी क्रिएट करते हैं डिप्लॉय करते हैं टू गेट कनेक्ट टू दिस S3 वो पॉसिबल नहीं है, कमांड ही नहीं चल रहा है, राइट? ओके. So now we are going to create a role. Basically role नहीं है, इसको परमिशन नहीं है, तो हम एक role बनाएंगे. So go back to the IAM, go back to the roles, right? और यहाँ पर कुछ सर्विस लिंक रोल्स हैं, आप देख सकते हो जो जरूरी है, मस्ट है, जिसके बिना ये सर्विसेज चलेंगे नहीं, तो वो यूज करते करते अपने आप भी क्रिएट हो गए. कुछ चीजों में ऐसा है जिसमें मैनुअल इंटरवेंशन चाहिए, आपको रोल क्रिएट करना है. सो क्रिएट अ रोल, राइट, फॉर AWS सर्विस EC2, राइट. कोई दूसरी सर्विस है तो आप यहाँ से सर्च कर सकते हैं, लिस्ट ऑफ सर्विसेज आर देयर, और विच सर्विस यू वांट टू क्रिएट एनी दिस रोल यू कैन सिलेक्ट. So EC2 is frequently used, common use cases हैं. I select EC2, proceed. Right, किस तरह का रोल क्रिएट करना है? So we are going to create the role to access S3. तो S3 full access ले लेते हैं. Search, right? I'm creating a role in which EC2 is going to have full access over S3. Next, role का नाम, so S3, EC2, S3, full access. Any name. Right, and that's all. Create a role. Okay, so this is created, right? Once it is created, we have to associate this role now with EC2. So go back to your EC2, refresh it, and go to the action. Go to security. Under security, modify IAM role. Right, refresh. And here you will see this role is listed. EC2 S3 full access जो अभी मैंने create किया है. Select this one, update. So now this role is associated with this instance, right? And now whenever this instance is going to make a request to the storage service, so it will have that permission token, right? Let's try again. AWS S3 list, and this is listed. It shows you the output. These are buckets in S3 which are same. Yeah, for something these are same output, right? Yes. And ये बिल्कुल मतलब permission के जैसे ही, as long as it is remaining associated, it's fine. But if you remove it, immediately this is going to be removed, effective, right? So if I want to remove it, I could attach this one. Go to the action, same way, security, modify app role, and here I say no app role, nothing. Update, right? As such, we are detaching this app role now. Commit, and this is the test. Verify once again using the same command here. AWS S3 list, and now it fails. Yes. Okay, is this clear? So roles are the permissions, kind of permissions which are used by the sources and services, right? Policies we are associating directly with users, but roles with the sources and services. Okay. And finally,
Yes, sir.
finally we have the last part, policies. Just delete this one. So last one is the policies, right? Policies जैसा मैंने आपको पहले बताया है, these are the permission documents. These are in fact the documents which are all written in JSON, right? कोई सी permission अगर आप देखोगे, जैसे can I say EC2 read permission kind of thing, read only permission, right? तो अगर आप इसको read EC2 read only access अगर देते हो किसी को भी, right? hold करना. Yes. So यहाँ पर EC2 full read only access अगर हम किसी यूजर को देते हैं तो क्या होगा? This fellow is going to have the services. उसको पूरा services का listing बता रहा है जो EC2 से related है, right? EC2 related वो listing कर सकता है. CloudWatch service है, monitoring service है, auto scaling, ELB, load balancer, right? ये सब उसको accessible नहीं. Okay? इसमें क्या है? Go to the JSON और ये JSON में पूरा लिखा हुआ है permission. So you can view it like this also, right? So these are permission documents which are all written in JSON and they contain multiple permissions depending on the kind of policy. Multiple permissions. ठीक है, जैसे आप यहाँ पे देखेंगे फिर से ग्रुप ऑफ मल्टीपल परमिशन, DLB रिलेटेड भी इसमें कुछ परमिशन हैं, रीड, लिस्ट, राइट, EC2 ऑटो स्केलिंग में फुल रीड, लिमिटेड लिस्टिंग, लाइक दिस। तो जो भी जरूरी है उसको मिला के बनाया है एक जेसन डॉक्यूमेंट दैट मेक्स द पॉलिसी, राइट। सो ये तो इनबिल्ट पॉलिसीज हैं, AWS मैनेज पॉलिसीज, बट इफ यू वांट टू क्रिएट योर ओन पॉलिसी वो भी आप क्रिएट कर सकते हैं। मोस्ट ऑफ द टाइम क्या होता है कि जो पॉलिसीज हैं दीज आर सफिशिएंट एनफ, राइट। किसी भी सिचुएशन के लिए अगर आपको सिक्योरिटी कंट्रोल करना है, राइट, परमिशन से रिलेटेड क्या देना क्या नहीं देना, सो मोस्ट ऑफ द टाइम दे आर सफिशिएंट। लेकिन कभी कभी ऐसा होता है कि हमें कस्टमाइजेशन करना है, राइट। सो यू कैन क्रिएट योर कस्टम पॉलिसी ऑल्सो, जिसे हम कस्टमर मैनेज पॉलिसी भी बोलते हैं। जैसे ये है AWS मैनेज, तो हम अगर बनाएंगे तो हो जाएगा कस्टमर मैनेज, राइट। चलिए क्रिएट पॉलिसी, एक एग्जाम्पल देखते हैं। किस सर्विस के लिए आपको पॉलिसी बनाना है, राइट। वैसे रहो, अगर आपको जेसन आता है तो अच्छी बात है, और नहीं आता है तो आप विजुअल एडिटर जो है यहाँ पर उसके द्वारा भी कर सकते हैं, ठीक है। So I'm going to create a policy, custom policy for EC2 service, right? Whichever service you want, you can make it search. Commonly used services जो है लिस्टिंग में यहाँ पे शो कर रहा है आपको। Here I go for EC2 for example. अब EC2 में ये देखिए, ये एक्सेस लेवल्स हैं, लिस्ट रिलेटेड 168 लेवल्स हैं लिस्टिंग, रीड लेवल परमिशन 31 है, राइट रिलेटेड जो परमिशन है, राइट, 403 एक्सेस लेवल्स हैं, राइट। चलिए एक एग्जांपल देखते हैं, लिस्ट, ये देखो, राइट। So if you want to create a policy, so you can describe, you can include those access levels what you wish, right? But उसके लिए आपको पूरा डिटेल स्टडी और प्रैक्टिस होना चाहिए, राइट। लेकिन मैं आपको सिर्फ ओवरव्यू दे रहा हूँ। तो मान लीजिए मुझे चाहिए अपनी पॉलिसी में, राइट, आई वांट that permission should be there, describe flow logs, right, describe images, and describe interact gateways, describe instances, describe host. Like this, you can make a selection. So whatever selections I'm making, that's all going to be allow. We allow है, right? अगर मुझे उल्टा करना है, मैं बोला ये सब चीजें deny होनी चाहिए, तो मैं यहाँ से specific deny permission कर सकता हूँ, deny. So whatever selections I'm making now, they are going to be denied. Rest everything else is going to be permitted, right? ये approaches है. So अभी मैं इसको back to default कर देता हूँ, allow permission, right? Meaning whatever selections I'm going to make, they are going to be allowed. So list में मैंने 5 labels select कर दिए. Read में I suppose say all the read actions I want, right? There are 31 access labels. आप पढ़ के देख सकते हैं इसमें read related, right? हर चीज के लिए परमिशन है। Get console screenshot, इसकी भी परमिशन। Get console output, आप देख रहे हो यूजर को। Get password data, राइट। सो ये सब एक्सेस लेवल्स हैं, राइट। राइट रिलेटेड जो है, देखिए, कॉपी इमेज, राइट, कैंसिल बंडल टास्क, राइट, क्रिएट की पेयर, क्रिएट इमेज, क्रिएट प्लेट, क्रिएट सबनेट, क्रिएट स्नैपशॉट, रूट टेबल, क्रिएट रूट, हर बात के लिए परमिशंस हैं, राइट। क्रिएट VPC एंड पॉइंट. So like this, you can go for selective approach. Suppose मैं बोला ये है मेरी custom policy या custom permissions, right? And I want it for अब इसमें कुछ कन्फ्लिक्शंस होंगे तो वो थोड़ा सा आपको वार्निंग देगा. Let's see. चलिए, right? आप देख सकते हैं एक्सेस लेवल, राइट, रीड फुल एक्सेस और लिस्ट एंड राइट लिमिटेड एक्सेस है इसके अंदर और ऑल द रिसोर्सेज क्रिएट पॉलिसी पॉलिसी का नाम दे देते हैं तो मैं इसको नाम दे देता हूँ दिस इज गोइंग टू बी माय custom policy right name provide and create it right so this is created same way you can see जो भी हमने create किया है you can see the JSON is created at the backend right now if you want to use it the use करना आप जानते हो मान लीजिए once again I go back to the user1 और जो भी इसको परमिशंस हैं ये सब मैं हटा देता हूँ सपोज I'm going to have assign it with the custom permission only add permission or to policies make a search for custom policy custom EC2 right select right this is customer managed policy add permissions yes so now user one is having this custom policy right अब जो भी पॉलिसी ये तो खैर मैंने आपके सामने अभी प्रेजेंटली क्रिएट की है बट इफ यू वांट टू नो अबाउट द पॉलिसी राइट कोई ऐसी अननोन पॉलिसी अगर लगी हुई है और अगर आपको टेस्ट करना है कि इस परमिशन इस पॉलिसी में क्या अलाउड है क्या डिनाइड है तो यहाँ पर प्रोवाइडर आपको एक टूल देता है टूल्स राइट पॉलिसी सिमुलेटर राइट एक अच्छा टूल है right if you want to test any policy that what it contains see we have got thousands of policies but looking at the name आप ये identify नहीं कर सकते हैं कि policy में क्या है to a greater extent you can make out the meaning of that जैसे EC2 read only access तो हमें समझ में आ रहा है कि read only access है it's only the name right but what exactly it contains if you really want to see the nitty-gritty access level controls so you can use this simulator to identify the nature of that policy. Right? Here I go for policy simulator. Or suppose I want to test my own policy which I've just created and associated with this user one. So let us see. User one को भी मैंने कोई policy लगाई है. I want to test it what it contains. Right? If suppose you are not aware of this policy, I want to test it. So you can use simulator. Here I select EC2. Right? EC2 में actions ये actions हैं right जो now this is the combined actions all the actions are listed here right और ये बोलता है कि इन actions को अगर selectively select करना है comparison के लिए वो आप कर सकते हो मैं यहाँ पे ले लेता हूँ all actions selected right कितने हैं ये more than 600 actions are there so this policy is going to be compared against these access tables right this policy is going to be compared against these access tables one by one and it will give you the result whether it is allowed or not allowed right permitted or not permitted right so we are going to run this simulation so now this policy is going to be compared against these access tables which are more than 600 in number and for every level it shows me what this policy contains so this policy right accept address transfer right yeah allocate address host ये सब denied this policy yeah what is permitted you scroll down so this is allowed this action is allowed copy image in this policy right create fleet is allowed create image is allowed like this so you will get to know what this policy contains right if suppose you are dealing with some unknown policy या आपको कोई ट्रबल शूटिंग करना है right कि ये यूजर क्या कर पा रहा है या क्या नहीं कर पा रहा है so you can check it out like this right yes बताइए so यहाँ पर flexibility है you can create your own policies you can define the roles right users user groups Yes. So मैंने आपको सिर्फ आउटलाइन बताया है इसका, बट व्हेन वी आगे चल के हम कुछ लैब्स करने वाले हैं जिसमें ये सब हाई गोल्स या पॉलिसी हमें क्रिएट करना है, तो थोड़ा सा और आइडिया होगा. बट द थिंग इज मोर यू डू इट यू आर गोइंग टू लर्न बेटर. यस, बोलिए, क्या क्वेश्चंस?
Yes, sir.
ओके, फाइन. चलिए, सो वी हैव टू स्टार्ट विद a new topic now. नया टॉपिक. अभी तक हमने क्या क्या टॉपिक कर लिए हैं? PC2, PC and
IAM.
yeah, topic. All right. Now, one of the important topic what we have to see is S3. जो S3 में बार बार अभी बोलने में लाया हूँ, so this we have to check it out. So I will open up a small document about S3. This is important topic. This is all about storage, right? शुरू करने से पहले थोड़ा सा बेस इसका मैं आपको बता दूं. See, we are talking about data storage. And before we talk about the storage, because we are going to store the data, so data is again of different nature, right? So accordingly, services are also different. Storage services are different according to the nature of data, right? Now, if you have a look at the data, so broadly speaking, this data or another data storage is of two types, right? One is the block storage. Other one is object storage. Block storage and object storage. Block storage, right? If you can recall, I told you about EC2. In EC2, the storage is known as volume. Remember? And this volume, to be more specific, this is EBS volume. EBS is what? Elastic block storage. It's a block storage. This is again a service. Block storage service is different and S3 service is different, right? So in block storage, what is so specific? In block storage, see, everything is virtualized. Here in cloud, everything is virtualized. When it comes to the storage, so storage, especially when we talk about the storage of EC2 instance, this is virtualized and this is simulating the environment the way you have on your local hard disk. What you are using hard disk in your laptop, desktop, it is simulating that environment. So what is so specific here? In your hard disk, you can format it, right? You format your storage and you're defining the file system, right? You're going to install the operating system, right? Installing the applications, programs. In fact, you are executing the applications, right? You are running the databases. Running the database, for example, you have SQL databases, NoSQL databases. Here you are issuing the queries, right? SQL queries, they are processed, they are going to retrieve the results, right? You're going to perform all these activities. So in your hard disk, you are doing it. But in case of cloud, this thing is simulated, virtualized. That is block storage. So block storage is going to simulate the environment what you have in your local hard disk, which is physical. This is where it's going to be virtual, right? Volume is virtual disk. and there it is using this block storage. So we are using block storage if suppose your nature of data is such which needs to be processed, wherein you can define the file system, right? I'm operating on my operating system here. We do have a file system. We have C drive, D drive, we have folders, subfolders, subfolders. We have the location of the file, and if you make a search here, so in search output, it gives you the location of the file, that this file is located into this drive, this folder, and subfolder, and there it is, the location. And then it shows you the path, isn't it? All those things are there. This is block storage, right? But object-based storage, we don't have any such feature, right? You cannot define any file system. You cannot have any installation of operating system. You cannot execute any application, any program. You cannot have any database queries, SQL, NoSQL, nothing. That is, in the storage, whatever things you are going to upload, whatever piece of data you are going to upload, any kind of data in any format, whatever you upload, it is all understood as an object, not as a file. Everything is understood as an object. Even if suppose you are uploading an executable program, so it is an object. You are uploading a database, so it's an object. Right? You have the operating system, it's an object. So everything is an object. You cannot open up any file, you cannot execute any application, nothing. Yes. That is, S3 is object-based storage. Right? So far, when we were using EC2 instances, when we were talking about the storage over there, they were EBS, block storage, right? Volume, wherein actually we were defining the file system. But here we don't have any such mechanism. But then why do they like this? Can't we have the storage everywhere the way we are using block storage? Only one reason, right? Block storages are very, very limited in size. What is the size of your hard disk? 1 TB, 2 TB, that's all. Not more than that. But here, in object-based storage, there is no limit, right? So if suppose you have to manage massive data, wherein you don't have the limit, then it is object-based storage, right? One example of object-based storage, practically speaking, what you are experiencing, you are using, you are using the applications, Facebook. Nowadays, in today's internet, we have so many Facebook users all across the world I'm talking about. When they're using Facebook, see, I don't know, I don't use Facebook, right? But if suppose they are using it, you must be knowing it, that people are sharing their, thoughts and, photographs and movies and images and blah, blah, whatever they go to some picnic and they're uploading that this is what the picnic is all about. So massive data is being uploaded, right? Every minute, every hour, every day. Massive data, right? We have lakhs of users who are there on the Facebook at the same time and then doing all such activities. Where is getting stored? Right? You are playing YouTubes, right? Your movie files stored somewhere, right? And daily uploads are there nowadays. Daily, we have countless number of users and we have countless number of activities. Countless, I'm telling you, right? They're storing, uploading the data. Massive data is there. Do you think that you can store it in your hard disk? Not possible, right? No way. It is all object-based storage. So cloud storage is all object-based storage. The Google Drive what you are using, right? That is all object storage. All right. So S3 is object-based storage, right? That's the reason we're studying it separately. All right. So one thing is obvious, looking at this name, that it's a cloud-based storage. We're storing data, any kind of data, in any format. And Amazon claims that it is unlimited, right? That is what the documentation says, unlimited storage, right? So we're going to see the features. It has tremendous number of features, right? And why somebody is going to opt for cloud-based storage as compared to the storage, but you can have it locally. You can purchase locally the disk drive also, and you can store your data. Traditionally, we have been doing it like this, but why somebody will go for cloud-based storage, right? So Amazon here, Amazon S3, it provides you secure, durable, highly scalable cloud storage. It's secure, right? So whatever points we are discussing here, in fact, they are very significant as compared to, see, we are always going to be higher. Subconsciously, we are going to compare the scenario of cloud-based storage with on-premises storage solutions always. So it's more secure than that. The kind of security, what you can expect, what you can have there in the cloud is beyond comparison. Right from your location, when you upload the data, it's all going to be encrypted. Even when it is stored there on the server, storage server, it's all going to be encrypted, right? Which is not going to be a daily practice on premises. It is durable. It's durable reason being that multiple replicas are getting created of your data, right? It's stored redundantly. Cloud infra, as such, it is a redundant infrastructure, right? Redundancy is there. Redundancy in terms of power supply, redundancy in terms of zones, right? Redundancy in terms of disk, devices, everything is redundant. If anything fails, a backup is there, right? So infrastructure is redundant. On the top of that, when you're going to store your files, etc., that is again going to be stored redundantly. It's durable. That's why it's durable, and it is highly scalable. That is, you don't need to do any capacity planning, or there are no capacity constraints. The way actually we were doing it here, in volume, you were defining the size. Windows 30 GB, right? Just now I created Linux, so 8 GB of volume, right? And you're going to pay for the 8 GB or 30 GB or whatever size you specify. But this is not the case here, right? It's highly scalable. And then when you need more of storage space, it's going to scale up automatically. You don't need to worry about that, right? These are certain plus points. It's an object-based storage, as I told you. Meaning only files or images can be stored. Not an operating system. Meaning you cannot install operating system. You cannot run the databases, right? You cannot open an object, as simple as that. Even if suppose you have PDF file, doc file, etc., you can open them. You have exe file or any executables, you cannot execute them, right? S3 also, even for that, see, images and movie files, images mean pictures, right? You cannot open up them. If you want to see the images, you have to download them, have some, application. You have a movie file, suppose for example, you cannot play it, download it, and then have a player and then play it, right? It's that way. S3 also allows to pay only for the storage actually. Yes, that's another thing, because capacity planning, capacity constraints are not there. You don't need to plan in advance that what size we are going for the storage, the way you were doing it here in the volume, right? So what happens? Unlimited storage, meaning, and then when you're going to upload the data, so you're going to pay only for what bits and bytes you're consuming, right? The amount of data what you're going to upload, accordingly billing is going to be calculated. Yes. Nearly any application running in AWS uses S3, directly or indirectly. Yes. This is something very, very obvious, in fact. That is, this service S3, it's not only for the customers or subscribers. Even the cloud provider is using this S3 for its own internal purposes, right? When it says that we have redundancy, they're going to have the backup, not only the client data, even their own cloud data is going to be all backed up over this S3. In fact, entire zone is backed up. That's the reason they claim that even if suppose zone goes down, availability zone, availability zone means that's data center. So even if suppose the entire data center is collapsed, So data can be reconstructed back, right? Because it is all backed up there in this S3. So entire zone data is there, right? You can recover this entire data of the zone from the S3. So that's what they claim, that it's unlimited storage. So anyway, Amazon is very powerful in infrastructure. As far as the storage goes, it is literally unlimited. They have the entire cloud data there on the S3, right? And they're also offering this to the customers and clients. Common use cases for S3, right? Backup and archive for on-prem data and cloud data. That is obvious, right? You are going to take the backup and archiving. Content, media, and software storage and distribution, right? And suppose we have certain softwares, right? Applications which needs to be distributed. So they're all going to be kept on this storage. Data analytics. Even website hosting you can do. Cloud native mobile and internet application hosting, right? Hosting, right? Internet application hosting, mobile application hosting, right? Is on S3 and disaster recovery, which I just telling you. Disaster recovery. That is, even if suppose zone collapses, so you can recover the zone. Yes, right? Now, when you're going to use this S3, so the approach is what? You cannot upload the data directly. Rather, for yourself, you have to create bucket. If you want to use the storage, you have to create the bucket first, right? Now, bucket is what? Bucket is a kind of, you can say, a container. Bucket is a kind of container, or it's a kind of folder, right? Just like you have the folders. Wherein you have to assume like this, that this is your bucket, literally like the bucket we have, right? And here in this bucket, you are going to upload your data. The data, whatever data you are going to upload, they are all known as objects. We don't call them as files. They are, everything is an object because it is object-based storage. Yes. So first and foremost thing is that you have to create the bucket in your storage account, right? Now, there are two things associated with this bucket. One is that whenever you're going to create a bucket, you are going to specify the reason, in which reason you are going to create it, right? Buckets are reason specific. So suppose I say that my bucket is there in North Virginia, right? There's another bucket here, right? Which I've created in Mumbai region. It means what? And whatever uploads you're going to make into this bucket. This is my bucket number 1, this is bucket number 2, right? So whatever uploads you're going to make in bucket number 1. Because this bucket is there in North Virginia, it means your data is going to be stored in the data centers of North Virginia only. That is, you as a user, when you're going to upload your data, you don't need to specify that in which region you are going to upload. Got it? When you upload your data, you don't need to specify that in which region you are going to upload your data. Rather, depending on the location of your bucket, your data is going to be there into that region. So if my bucket is there in North Virginia, it obviously means that data what you upload here in this bucket is going to be kept in data centers of North Virginia. Your bucket is there in Mumbai, so it means whatever upload you're going to make into this bucket, your data is going to be there in the Mumbai data centers in that case, right? This is one thing. And second thing is that this bucket has got a name. Whenever you're going to create a bucket, you have to specify a name. So far, so good. Name is there. But the thing is that when you assign it a name, name has to be unique. That too globally. Globally unique name needs to be assigned. You have to specify a unique name. Unique name meaning it's not going to be unique only in your account. Now they're all the account holders in the entire cloud. It means the name, if suppose I create a bucket with the name ABC, for example, right? For example, I have a bucket in my account with the name ABC. Now the thing is that nobody, no account holder of AWS can create a bucket with this name ABC, right? It's unique. Why it is like this? It has to be unique. So the thing is, when you're going to upload your data, I told you that everything that this is an object. This is your data objects, right? You have the files in your operating system, files. If you need to make a search for any file, isn't it? In your machine, in your laptop machine, if you need to make a search for any file, what do you do? You're using search operation, and in the search, it is going to show you the path, isn't it? You get to know where this file is existing in my laptop or desktop, isn't it? Or about here, right? It is massive data. We don't have any file system over here, right? It doesn't show you any path. You can always make a comparison. The search operation, what you do in your operating system machine, and the search, what you do over the internet, you know? Have you searched the internet anytime? Yes, of course. You're using search engine, Google search engine, right? You're using it. So when you do Google search, what is the kind of output? What it shows you in the output? Is it showing you path? And okay, this file is located in C drive, this folder, subfolder, and so on. What it shows you? It shows you URLs, isn't it? When you make a search using this Google search engine, for example, right, for any resource, so it shows you there the URLs. URL means unique resource locator. Just like that, every object what you're going to upload here in this bucket, it doesn't have any path. Rather, they have URLs. Unique resource locator. Name itself tells it's a resource locator, but unique. There's the address, right? So URLs are unique. URLs are unique. So we have to ensure that any object what we're going to upload is going to have a unique URL, right? And for that, what we're doing, we are naming this bucket with a unique name. So with this, what will happen? Why we are doing it with the bucket? Because bucket makes the top namespace in this URL. URLs are just like more or less like the DNS names, domain names. The domain name what you're using, they are unique. Much like that, we have the URLs. So URLs are going to be globally unique, and just to ensure that URLs are always unique, we are going to have this bucket name unique because bucket name is the part of this URL. They make the top namespace, right? So you have to have this bucket name created with a unique name, right? So these are the two things, right? So whenever you are going to make an upload, you want to use this S3 service. The first thing is you have to create a bucket. Without that, you cannot upload. And when you create a bucket, so you have to assign it a name which has to be unique. And second thing is you have to specify the region in which region you are going to create your bucket. Depending on the location of your bucket, your data is going to be uploaded into that region automatically. But you don't specify any region while making uploads. Okay. So we speak it like this, that buckets are regional. But S3 service in itself, this is global. Just like IAM service, just now I was discussing with IAM service. IAM service is global. Why? Why it is global? Because in IAM, when we are dealing with users, usernames, and their permissions, so they are not specific to any region. A user is not for a region, rather it's there for the entire cloud. So IAM service is a global service. Similarly, S3 service is a global service, right? Why? No. Why is it global service? Because when you are going to create buckets into this S3, so buckets of all the regions are going to be listed here on the single dashboard. Buckets of all the regions are displayed on the single dashboard, right? Unlike EC2, unlike VPC, right? See, if I want to see what are the EC2 instances in North Virginia region, so I have to go to the North Virginia region and see the listing over there. At the same time, if I want to see what are the instances running in Mumbai region, so switch over to the Mumbai region and see that what are the instances running over there. This is not the case with the S3, right? You want to see the buckets? Yes, go to the S3, and buckets of all the regions are displayed there on a single dashboard. This is the reference. You don't need to change the region. So S3 doesn't require any region selection because buckets of all the regions are there only on the single page. So remember, we speak it like this, that S3 service is global, but buckets are regional. Because whenever you are going to create a bucket, you do specify the region, right? So buckets are regional. All right, is this clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So this is what I'm written over here. Same thing I explained to you. Objects, I told you that whatever uploads you make, whatever files, etc., you are going to upload any kind of data in any format. What you upload, that's known as object. So objects are entities or files stored in S3 bucket. An object can store virtually any kind of data, any format. The range, size of this object, minimum 1 byte to maximum 5 TB, terabytes. Say, one object size can go maximum up to 5 TB. If you talk about your PC machine or laptop machine, do you have any idea what is the size of your hard disk? Any idea? You know that?
So 1
1
TB.
TB.
1 TB. Okay, that's good. At least you know it. 1 TB only. Right? So if suppose you have 5 laptops, right? All 1 TB full, combined together makes one object. I'm just giving you an imagination. You have got only one laptop. Take 5 laptops. All the disk 1 TB in size full. Combine them together. 5 disk data full. That makes one object. And like this, in one single bucket, you can have unlimited objects. So one object size 5 TB, and in one bucket, you can have unlimited number of objects, meaning virtually unlimited storage. Got it? Can you imagine?
Yes, sir.
That is
Yes.
the
Yes, sir.
that's why it claims unlimited storage. Now every object, what are you going to have? 3 elements are there associated, of course. In normal life also, same way. Every object has got the data. Just like suppose I'm going through this document. This is my s3.doc. Right? This is a file, what I'm going through right now. So this s3.doc has got the data, what I'm reading right now. Right? Metadata, meaning information about the file. What is that information? Right? You know it. If I open up, right? So suppose these are my files. Every file has got the information, date modified, the type of file, the size of file. This is all metadata. Got it? So here also in the same way, every object has got a metadata, meaning data about the file itself, and the key, meaning file name. In this case, for example, S3, so this is the key. So every object has got the data, meaning the contents, that's the data. Information about that object, that is the metadata, and the name, that is the key. Every S3 object is addressed by unique URL, I told you, and that's how this URL looks like. In this URL, suppose I have a file or key, name is jack.doc. This is the bucket name. This is the service endpoint, s3amazon.aws.com. And this is the key, object name or file name. These components. So the name of file what I have, same file name you can also have, right? This is service endpoint, this is going to remain common. So what is going to ensure that this URL is going to be unique now? So it's all based on the name, bucket name. This is going to be unique. If this is unique, this entire URL is going to be unique. In this case, suppose I'm using this bucket name in my account and I uploaded a file with this name. So this is going to be the address of this file now. And this address can never be same. Right? You may be having the same file name created, but because your bucket name is going to be different, so this is going to change the URL, right? Yes. All right, metadata, as I told you, but metadata is again of two types. It's a name value pair, as I told you, name and value, right? For example, date modified and actual date, right? Type of file and the type, size of file and actual size, name value pair. Metadata is the name value pair, right? And two types are there, system metadata and custom metadata, user metadata. System metadata is something what is defined by the system itself, right? Most of the time when you have the files in your system, so their metadata is all taken care by the system itself, which you cannot change, you cannot modify it. In this case, for example, date last modified, size of object, MD5 digest, HTTP content type, these are the examples of system metadata. And custom metadata, yes, you can configure if you wish. It's optional basically, right? So you can provide some custom information as a metadata, something which is meaningful to you, something which can help you in identifying your object. You can do that. Key is the file name, right? So every object has a, yes, tell me.
यूजर मेटाडेटा का एक एग्जांपल क्या होगा?
When you have created the EC2 instance, so you are assigning the name tag, the very first thing in the beginning, name tag, that is metadata. Name and the name of your EC2 instance, that is metadata only. And this is custom, you can provide any name. Okay.
Okay.
So key is a file name, and file name is just like you have the file. This is your folder. In this folder, you have the file names. In one folder, whatever files you have, name should be unique. You cannot have two or more files with the same name. Similarly, in a bucket, you have the objects. Every object has the key, and key has to be unique in a bucket. Yes, it can so happen that you have one more bucket. The key what you have here, the same key you have an object here. This is possible. It's just like this is one folder, this is another folder. You can have the same file name here also in this different folder. That is possible. So same rule applies here. So keys are unique within a single bucket, but different buckets can contain objects with the same key. That's possible, right? Other features. We're talking about the features of S3 only. Durability and availability, right? Amazon claims very high durability and availability, but before that, what is durability? Durability is just like asking, will my data still be there in the future? See, durability, just like, when you do the shopping, you purchase some products in the market. So you're asking for durability, right? आपने शूज लिए, हाँ शूज चलेंगे क्या 6 महीने 1 साल ऐसा बोलते हैं ना. टी शर्ट ली आपने, हाँ कितना चलेगी टी शर्ट, 1 साल तो चल जाएगी. So invariably you are asking for durability. What is the durability of this product, right? And then you justify whether it's really worth enough to purchase with this cost price also. You are going to decide, right? Now same thing goes here with the data. Here it is the data, right? So when you are going to upload the data, so as a user, your obvious question is, how long it's going to be there? Right? 1 साल, 10 साल, 50 साल, कितना? Right? And availability is that when you make an upload the data, so is it there available? Can I access the data immediately or will there be any delay? रुकना पड़ेगा 1 मिनट, 5 मिनट, 5 घंटे, 5 दिन, कितना? Right? What about the availability? Yes. So Amazon says that S3 standard storage, standard is the class, right? It is providing you 99.999, meaning these are all in all 11 lines. 11 lines of durability and 4 lines of availability of objects in a given year. Right? They're not saying 100%. They're saying 11 lines of durability. That's how they are making their SLA also. SLA, that is service level agreement. Now, how they are arriving on this calculation figure? So they have given a calculation method. And if suppose you upload 10,000 objects in S3, so out of these 10,000 objects, you hardly have a chance of losing only one object in 1 crore years. Yes, समझे बात को? अगर आपने 10,000 ऑब्जेक्ट अपलोड किए S3 के ऊपर, तो उन 10,000 में से शायद ही एक ऑब्जेक्ट लॉस होने की संभावना है इन 1 crore years. See, right? Beyond imagination, 1 crore years कितने होते हैं? Right? कितनी बार आप मरकर पैदा हो जाओगे? Right? लेकिन आपका डाटा सुरक्षित है. That is the kind of infra they have. Right? So they're boasting their infrastructure capability like this. So based on this figures, they are calculating that in 1 year, out of 100 objects, right, how many objects are going to remain? So these many objects are going to be there, available, right? Or 0.00001% loss will be there in a given year, right? So S3 achieved this high durability by automatically storing data redundantly on multiple devices, multiple facilities, but within the region. Yes. Meaning what? And when you see why they're boasting and why they're claiming so high durability, because whenever you're going to upload your data is going to be multiplied, replicated. The order says that at least 3 or more copies are getting created in the storage. 3 or 4 copies are getting created. So with this, now for you as a user, it is going to be only one file, single data object. But at the back end, 3 or more files are getting created on 2 different devices and facilities, but they all remain in the same region. So idea is that if some failure happens, somewhere some hardware fails, like link fails, power fails, so still your data is available to you and it can be reconstructed back from these alternate copies. So if they are going with this approach, so there is no limit of durability. It can go for crores of years like this. It's nearly impossible that whatever data they have distributed here and there in the region, right, everything is down. So not even in 1 crore year, it is possible that the entire region is going to be down at the same time, right? That is what it speaks. Yes. So high durability is there because your data is all going to be stored redundantly, and infrastructure in itself is redundant, right? So very high durability and infra level, right? They are offering you because you as a customer, you as a subscriber, when you go to store your data there in the S3. So Rhoda says that this is my warranty that data loss is not going to be there. So for you, it is going to be a single file, right? But remember, though redundant copies are getting created, right? But you as a user, you are equally responsible and accountable, because if suppose you make some accidental mistakes, right? क्या मान लीजिए आपने ये डाटा डिलीट कर दिया, फाइल डिलीट कर दी गलती से, and then you claim that, oh, this is by mistake, actually I want to have this file back in place, and because you have, you know, multiple copies, so just have it back. Provider cannot help you, right? Or if suppose you modify something, modify in the sense that you override something, right? डाटा ओवरराइट कर दिया, जैसे मेरा डॉक फाइल है, इस पर मैंने ओवरराइट कर दिया, सो पुराना जो है डाटा ओवरराइट हो गया, एंड देन आई से वो ये गलत हो गया, आई वांट द ओल्डर वन बैक इन प्लेस. Provider cannot help you, because if suppose you delete or if you modify, so that activity is again going to be replicated. If you delete, in fact, all these copies are getting deleted. If you modify, so all these copies are getting modified at the same time, right? Yes. So this redundancy model is only for the provider, that in case something goes wrong, so data is still there, right? But if you as a user, you make a mistake, you do something wrong, then you are responsible, right? So even for that, right, this product is offering you certain features, some additional features are there, like versioning, right? Cross-region application, MFA delete, which you can enable to protect your data from such accidental deletions and overwriting. Okay, that you can configure. That's a different thing, right? If you want, because this is all chargeable. Yes. Is this clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, next is consistency. Now, the question of consistency arises here because multiple copies are getting created, right? And multiple copies are getting created, so question of consistency arises. Because what happens in S3 is, suppose you have a file, an object, right? जैसा मैंने बताया, आपके लिए एक ही फाइल है, बैकएंड पर 4-5 फाइल हो सकती हैं, which are not visible to you in any way. So if suppose you delete the file, okay, so this file is deleted, and then this delete operation is going to be replicated. Then this file is deleted, then it is replicated, then this is also deleted, then this is also deleted, right? What I mean is that if you delete something, so this delete operation is going to be propagated and some delay is going to be involved, right? Till this file is completely removed. So in the meantime, when users are accessing your data, it can so happen that when they're trying to list or read this object, some are able to read and some are getting deleted status. This is inconsistency, right? Or if suppose you modify your file, आपने कुछ modification किया, update किया, fine, this file is updated. Then this update is propagated to the next file. Then this is updated. Then next file is updated. So by the time all these files objects are getting updated, some delay is involved. And when user activities are going on, they're accessing this data. So some are getting the older version, some are getting the latest version. This is inconsistency. Got it? So inconsistency is bound to happen because your data is getting replicated. Yes. So what about that? So Amazon says that S3 is an eventual consistent system. By default, it's an eventually is an English word, meaning ultimately over the period of time, right? It is going to become consistent, right? So two types of consistency models are there, which you need to understand, right? One for the new objects and other one for the existing objects, right? If suppose you are creating objects for the first time, new objects, you're uploading it for the first time. So provider is providing you read after write consistency, meaning you can read the object only when it is written successfully. Read after write. You can read only after it is written. See, when you upload the data for the first time, new object, this is created. Then next object is created. In the meantime, if suppose some users are trying to list or read, they won't get anything. Of course, the file is there, but nothing is going to be listed. Nothing is going to appear in the read operation, right? Until unless all the written copies are written successfully. When all written in copies are written successfully, then only you are getting success result. And then only users can read or list the objects, not before that. If suppose they're trying to list before that, before the success result, if they try to list, nothing will appear. All right. Read after write. Okay.
सर इस प्रोसेस में ऑलमोस्ट कितना टाइम
Yes.
लगता
Hmm?
है इस प्रोसेस में ऑलमोस्ट कितना टाइम लगता है
Fraction of second, depends on the size of data, but not even a second, fraction, but it is all theoretical. It's all theoretical, right? लेकिन जब हजारों यूजर एक्सेस कर रहे हैं तो भले ही इसमें फ्रैक्शन ऑफ सेकंड है, कुछ यूजर को कुछ मिलेगा आउटपुट, कुछ को कुछ मिलेगा, ये तो होना ही है, राइट? We have to understand from that point of view that users are getting impacted. जब एप्लीकेशन हमारी सेंसिटिव एप्लीकेशन होती है, there it is going to make an impact, right? जब किसी डाटा को हम गूगल सर्वर है, उसको लाखों लोग एक साथ एक्सेस करें, एक साथ, ठीक है, जब अपडेट उन्होंने किया तो हो सकता है कि कुछ को लेटेस्ट अपडेट मिल गया, कुछ को नहीं मिला, right? Perhaps you may need to refresh your request to get the latest, right? ऐसा हो सकता है. So slight delay is a big delay because customers are more, right? Similarly, existing objects के लिए वो देता है eventual consistency. Eventual consistency meaning that updates and deletes for the objects, the changes are eventually reflected and not available immediately, right? So over the period of time, right? If so, existing object को आप दो ही operations कर सकते हो. Put means override, delete means delete. तो या तो आप delete कर सकते हो. अगर आप delete करते हो object को यहाँ पर, right? Because already existing है. So of course some delay is there. So eventual consistency mean over the period of time, if you delete an object, then over the period of time it's going to be deleted. If you modify, if you put, what means they upload, the FTP language. You make an upload कर रहे हो, modify कर रहे हो. So over the period of time it's going to be consistent, but not immediately, right? But updates to a single key are atomic in nature. Atomic means that when you make an upload, and when users are trying to read the data, so they are going to get either the old data or the updated data. लेकिन ऐसा कभी भी नहीं होगा कि आधा नया और आधा पुराना उनको दिखाई दे रहा है, ऐसा कभी भी नहीं होगा, right? Changes are atomic, इनको बोलते हैं, updates are atomic in nature. So when users are accessing it, right? So some are bound to get old data, some may get updated data, right? So the fraction of second में सब चल रहा है, ऐसा कभी भी नहीं होगा कि आधा नया और आधा पुराना. Yes. Is this clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
अच्छी बात है. चलिए आज के लिए इतना ही रखते हैं, राइट? डॉक्यूमेंट और भी है, लेकिन उसको मैं बाद में थोड़ी ज़्यादा हो जाएगा तो बाद में करते हैं. कोई क्वेश्चन है अभी आपका इस लेक्चर से या पुराने लेक्चर से तो आप पूछिए.
No, sir. This was easy.
ओके, ठीक है, तो
Yes, sir.
मंडे को मिलते हैं.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.